So this is going to be short and sweet, I guess. If you see my last two videos, you know, I was talking about my cousin's trial. And it took, I think in my last video I told you they deliberated for a couple hours on Friday, then broke for the long weekend because of Columbus Day on Monday. So they started back on Tuesday. Then about 1 o'clock on Tuesday, the judge brought everybody into the courtroom, you know, spectators, lawyers, the jurors, everybody went in there, and they read what's called a Howard charge. And basically, it's just the judge saying, listen, you know, because they were at an impasse, right? The jurors said they can't, you know, they're deadlocked for, you know, whatever reason. And he said, you know, listen, it's like a little pep talk. Like, you are the 12 people that have been selected to hear this case and to do the outcome. We don't think there's, you know, 12 other people who are more equipped to do this. If you can't come up with an agreement, this will have to be done all over again. But, you know, if that's what happens, that's what happens. You know, if you're thinking for acquittal, maybe re-examine it. If you're thinking for conviction, maybe re-examine it. Let's get this done. You know, it's basically like a little pep talk. Like, let's get this done, right? Well, then about 3:30, they let them break for the day on Tuesday. And then yesterday they went in, 8:30 in the morning, started all over again. Then about 1:30, 1:45, we got a text message from his lawyer that the jury's made their decision, and it would be about 15 minutes. And then around 2 o'clock, everybody went into the courtroom, and the jury came in, and he had like 3 different murder charges. One was purposeful murder. They found him not guilty of that. Then the other one was like murder with a deadly weapon, like, and then another one was like murder with felonious assault or something. He was found guilty of both of those, plus gun specs, like. So it was yeah, it was a bad day yesterday for us, you know. I'm sure for the family of the victim, the individual who died, I'm sure it was a good day for them. You know, they felt vindicated, like they got some sort of justice or whatever. So now we wait till sentencing. Sentencing isn't until the end of November. The judge said that he wants a PSI, which is a pre-sentence investigation, if you didn't know. So that's what he wanted. The prosecutor wanted him to do the sentencing yesterday because the other family, the dude's parents were in from Florida, and they had been there for like 3 weeks. Nobody thought the trial and, you know, taking so long for the jury, like this would happen this way. Everybody thought it was going to be a lot quicker, and it wasn't, because it was a tough case, you know. And there was a lot of people in there, like a lot of other lawyers were in there watching this because it was like such a big deal, I guess. I didn't realize that at the time, but I guess his lawyer said there's going to be a lot of other lawyers in there because, you know, everybody's talking about this case. It's a big case. Well, yeah, so they read everything off, and then the judge was like, no, there's things I need to look into. I want the pre-sentence investigation done. Like, no, we're not doing that today. Sentencing will be done in November. You know, he's like, I'm going to be on vacation for a couple weeks. The probation department's a little behind on things, so they're going to need time to do their PSI, and then we'll go from there. But he said they could watch on Zoom. Like, you can watch on Zoom the sentencing. And then he said, well, they won't be able to read their victim impact statements. So the judge allowed them to read their victim impact statements yesterday. so that his parents read them, so the court could hear them or whatever, the judge could hear them. So yeah, that was rough. And then they revoked his bond and they took him back to jail, where he's gonna sit and wait until sentencing, and then he'll go to prison for who knows how long. It sucked that the way they... I'm just glad they didn't handcuff him in the courtroom. I think that would have been a little hard. They let him get up and walk out on his own, with his lawyer and the sheriffs, and into the hallway, and that's probably where they handcuffed him, patted him down, and let him away. The hardest part of the whole thing was calling his mom, my aunt, and telling her what had happened. I think because of the length that it was taken for the jury to reach a decision, I think some of them were like optimistic that it would be, not guilty on the bad stuff, and guilty on the lower charges. But it was really opposite. It was not guilty of one of the murders, and then not guilty of a couple of the misdemeanors, and one of the, so it was the opposite of the way that I think they were hoping it would go. Or they were hoping for a mistrial, that, But even if it's a mistrial, you got to do it again. If the prosecution decides to try it again, then you go back and you do it again. So yeah, I mean, if you don't know like all the facts of the case, go back and watch the video I did before this. I think it's titled Self-Defense or No, You Tell Me, or something like that. Something about self-defense. I don't know. But it's long. It's almost a half. It's like 25 minutes long. So, yeah, watch that, and then you'll get like all the facts of the case, and then you'll know. But yeah, his girlfriend that he lives with, he's been with for years, she was super upset. I'm sure his daughter's super upset when she found out. But you had to know this was a possibility. It just sucks that it happened. I figured he'd get, a couple of the felonies, maybe do 4 or 5 years, and then that'd be it. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So we'll see what happens from here. I'm not going to wait until he gets sentenced to make another video, obviously. So I'll be back soon, and then, November 24th, when sentencing is done, I'll let you know what he gets, I guess. So, alright, you guys be good. Take care of yourselves. Make good decisions. Let's make good decisions. Alright, I'll be back.